Here we are with Seth Devereux. Couple of meetings been and done from New Zealand Nationals, and give me a quick rundown on round one first.
Well, round one was definitely a tough start to the season, especially in our national campaign. Crashed in practice, that wasn't helpful, and then crashed in qualifying also wasn't very helpful, and went through my leathers and lost half my arse, and then...
Can we just stop there? What's the story with the crashing?
Do
you know what's happening?
No, we had a little bit of engine trouble early on the season. No fault of the bike, but more us working on it and just trying to get too many things done at the same time and causing headaches for ourselves, which meant that we had engine trouble, didn't get a test as much as we would have liked, and then we had new suspension that we didn't have enough time on. Trying to work out that in 2 days was fairly big ask. I mean, some of the guys have had a lot of luck where they've got techs on side, and they've got plenty of time to get it sorted with new stuff, but we were kind of in the deep end, so made for hard life. The front, we couldn't get the front to work, but the rear was working awesome. Heaps of grip and we'll hook up everywhere. Tyres are lasting, Metzler's just awesome. But the front was just...
So then you made some changes to the suspension?
Yeah, to be honest, all of round one we were struggling. I dumped in the last race of the weekend, the 20 lap of the Grand Prix at Rapuna, crashed there. We still hadn't made enough progress with the front. The back was working awesome, hooking up, gripping, just doing everything we could ask of it, and I just couldn't push the front at all. And then was just trying too hard to get a result when I should have just settled for some points and chucked it away.
So, I mean, with that difficulty, you still took out race 2, is that correct? Yeah,
race 2 it rained, so I usually go pretty good in the rain.
How does that work? I mean, you've scored some pretty impressive wins in the rain, and everyone's sort of putting a little tag on you as being, if it's rain, watch out for Seth Devereux, but how does that, you just feel very comfortable the way the bike's sliding, or just have a...
Oh, in the wet it's just like a constant state of slide, so where you are all the time. Where the dry you have the trouble where you push to a point and then it takes off all of a sudden, and it's trying to tune it so that when it takes off you've got feel. Where in the wet it's a constant state of slide, so you know where you stand all the time. I had a couple of big let go moments in the wet. Everyone saw right in front of everyone I had a completely broad coming into the dipper on like the second lap. It was just about all over, and then I had a bigger one. I went through a pothole with the front almost completely gone, and I caught it, and right as I got it stood up, it got onto the paint on the riffle strip, and it's really greasy in the wet, and all hell broke loose. But we managed to keep it on its feet and catch John and got him.
So you ended up leaving round one with what sort of points and what position? I
was in 6th with I think 38 points, which was not ideal.
So then we headed down to levels where you'd scored that remarkable win. That was your first win?
Yeah, last year my first championship win was at levels in the rain year. I was just hoping it was going to pull off. Didn't quite happen. The forecast said it was going to, but it just never came. 5 days of rain, 5 races of rain at Manfield are going to make up for it.
Watch out, everyone.
I'm looking forward to that. I'm telling everyone it's just going to rain the whole weekend at Manfield. But no.
So then round 2 kicked off, so no crashes in practice or qualifying?
No, first session on Friday, between the help of Robert Taylor at KSS and Sam Davison, who spent for me a lot, between the pair of theirs ideas and opinions, we got the front to work in the morning on Friday, and it's fantastic. We could be competitive in the dry again, and it was just, I was very happy, Seth. We went into Saturday feeling quite confident. So
qualified where?
Not great. I qualified 11th, but it sounds not that great, but between 1st and I think 12th or 13th there was about 1.3 or 1.4 seconds.
That's a very competitive 600 field.
Yeah, the most competitive I think we've ever seen. I mean, people say, back when Dennis and Nick were slugging it out, things were faster, but they really weren't. I mean, we took the lap record fell on levels at the weekend, and there was a whole group from about kind of 4th place through to 10th place. We're all within quarter of a second, half a second the whole race. Like, it was just like the lap times were. Like, it was just huge battles. Awesome.
So qualified 11th. Are you a good starter, or are you?
Yeah, I tend to go. My launch is never so great, but I'm plenty aggressive. So like the first 3 corners, I seem to make up a few spots. I think both races I didn't come out of. Oh, the last race I came out worse for wear, but the first 2 I came out kind of 5th or 6th from 11th on the grid. So you got to be pretty happy with that. I mean, to get two grids off 3 corners is.
No, that's fantastic.
That's where you want to be, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, the 3rd race didn't go so well. We had a crash in the 2nd one. We made a bad choice of tyre compound. With the tyre rules geared the way they are, it's quite tricky.
So you have to make that call Saturday morning for the race that afternoon, correct me if I'm wrong?
No, so whatever tyres you run in qualifying, you have to run for race 1.
Yeah.
So you've only got 2 fronts for the weekend.
Yeah.
So if you want to run like a medium and a soft, if the track temperature is low in the qualifying session, then you have to run your medium then, which means you're chained into using it for your first race, which means you've got your soft for both the Sunday's races, whether it's wet, dry, or cold, or hot, or whatever. Yeah. So you have to kind of make your choices then. The tyre rules are just costing people money. Yeah. And it's tough. Like
I certainly know the direction they wanted to go, but it hasn't quite worked out.
No, and like they've tried to do a good thing. In my opinion, they need to say you're only allowed 2 fronts and 3 rears for the qualifying races, and we'll mark them, and you can come and see us and change compounds if you want. But once one's been used once, then it's one of your 5 tyres, you know, because that means that we can qualify, and if it's cold in qualifying, we can have a medium on so it doesn't tear, and then if it comes hot in the afternoon, we can put our softs on. But otherwise, you've got people shredding tyres in qualifying, or not even using qualifying, not going out on practices, and then race 1 on the conditions change and they just shred a tyre, and it's just like it's costing us money in tyres, and then we've got to try
places and potential
crash damage. And like for me, I had a soft on for the Sunday, and that meant that we couldn't keep the heat in it on the first race. So I was really struggling. I had to push the front everywhere to try and get the carcass to hold temperature. And I came off the straight, which is where it cools down, gets all the wind blowing over it, no force on it. Tipped in off the end of the straight and lost the front, and I picked it up, and there's the line you can see it goes all the way around the corner of me trying to save the front, and then right at the end I run out of seal, and down the road we went into the gravel and smashed on the bike. And like I would have preferred to run the medium compound, but we'd already had our tyres marked, and the deal was done. Like it was what I had to run. Yeah,
well, I mean, I think MNZ is trying to. I truly think they're trying to head in to try and minimise the cost for the races. We just haven't quite tweaked it the right way, and I'm sure on this feedback, and I'm sure they got feedback at the track.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, they'll work through.
And like they're a good bunch of guys, and they're trying to do the right thing. I just think that they've gone the wrong way about saving money.
So heading up to Taupo and Manfield, are they tracks you're familiar with?
Yep, absolutely. I haven't ridden Manfield for a while. I used to have the 250 lap record there. I haven't been there in a few years. I went there 2 years ago for a tri-series, and I would have been there last year, or just gone. But we had some difficulties, and then money played a factor in.
Money's always a factor.
That was the end of that. So we're going up there. I'm feeling fairly confident. I mean, the Kawasaki's a great bike. It's got heaps of horsepower and it handles really well. So it's especially fun on the banking there. Man, you can just stick it into it.
Now, there was quite a few Kawasaki's. We had Phil Lovett and Sophie Lovett on Kawasaki. So it's probably, correct me if I'm wrong, one of the biggest fields we've seen of Kawasaki's.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that is if you exclude the 250s, because the 250s pretty much filled it. There was one high sung at the first round, and then now it's just all Kawis. But yeah, there's definitely more Kawasaki's. I mean, you've got Luke who's come over on his 600. There's a few North Island campaigners that haven't come yet, but I'm sure we'll see them up north on ZX6s. And then you've obviously got Nick, who's relentless on the ZX10, and then the Lovitts on their 10s. So it's getting to be more and more popular.
No, it's great to see other manufacturers